All right, Speedromizer community, we are all set for Star Wars Episode 1 Racer by Talcerase. Take it away.
What is up, Speedromizer community? I am Talcerase, your local friendly Emerald Dragon. This is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and joined with me is my teacher, if you'd like to introduce yourself here.
Yes, hi all. It's me, Magus1, or you can just call me Mage, or however on that one. Or let me pull up chat so that way I can say, ask, answer any questions or anything else like that they might have. Although I'm usually doing time trials more than the actual speed run itself, but you'll learn both. You'll learn at least some of each.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have one thing on this game here. So if you see on the top right under where it says 1 out of 1 position, there's the map, right? There's one key that you can press on the PC version to change that map.
Oh,
I'm not going to say what that key is right now. I will tell you after the run. But I'd like the chat to guess. And you know what? Why don't you donate? You know, I know there's a few polls open currently.
I will say this much. This is why I got one of the community's top runners to help me with learning exactly how to go in and edit my the actual default stuff, so I can actually set stuff up to work well on a controller.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly why I got it as well.
Yeah, it is highly recommended because this game is finicky on PC. Even and that's even using the GOG version, let alone the Steam version. I don't know if they ever fixed the bugs for that, from what I heard.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm using the GOG version here. But yeah.
Also, I did drop a link to the stream in the Episode 1 Racer Discord in case anybody did want to, pop in and say hi or good luck.
Oh, awesome.
So that is a very active community.
It is. And I had a few people help me with this game and help me actually get it running properly. So, with that being said, time will begin. Let's see here. Wherever my cursor is. Come on, where, cursor.
Oh, trust me. Trust me.
Okay, there we go.
This game is finicky, but so much fun.
Time will begin as soon as I hit OK here. So if we're ready on time, I will give us a countdown here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Now, race. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, we're gonna start with Evie on this first one, because he's kind of the best all-around character here. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of commentating because
it's hard to do that
driving and racing is difficult.
Also, I will point out this is actually one of my favorite tracks I practice. As Executioner here, it's a fun track. It is also one of those tracks that just you learn to just have fun with. That's the one thing about Racer. Each of the tracks has their own unique stuff on it, and each of the different pods has their own things, to the point of I know some actual runners, especially for time trials and other stuff, they will deliberately keep damaged parts just to get specific actual spots they want on the speed, acceleration, braking, repair, and all the other stuff, especially with turning. Now, what Seems How do here is just trying to boost as much as possible, as fast as you want. It's sort of like someone said in chat, it's a little kind of like F-Zero, and it's kind of like its own thing as well. There's been 2 total Episode 1 Racer, 2 total Star Wars Racer games, that one. Also, that is a very tight turn to make, depending on the lap because of how it turns. But also noticed boosting as much as possible and going as much to just under the overheating option. If you do overheat, you do end up having part of the pod the part of the pod catch fire. Hopefully we won't see any crashes, but if you feel like it, feel free to donate for every crash, but hopefully won't have that happen. As basically this is one of those games where blink and you miss it on some of the tricks, and ideally there are a heck of a lot of skips in this game. This will not include them. Well, let me rephrase that. It would be like watching a Mario Kart Wii run with some of the more sneaky shortcuts that are allowed but not busted, and broken shortcuts. Especially since there are some ones that could completely trivialize some of the tracks. Now, I will point out the time in this game is measured at in-game time, but because it actually has a very detailed timer, as you can see up at the top. And yes, Omega, it is a very good game. Even if you don't know what you're doing, there's one. But so far ahead that it doesn't really matter as much. Knowing which pod to take and which racer to take for each track, or which has the best optimal stats overall, is very important. Now, I'll be honest with you, I tend to just focus on the time trials because those are fun. Highly recommend if you want to check out this game, start there before learning a speedrun, or learn the speedrun, although the community will tell you if you want to create your own file on any of the platforms. You might want to try learning without upgrades first, but here's my take on it. On most modern platforms.
There's cloud save. Turn off auto update and just reload it.
As it really does save you from actually losing a lot of money or other stuff like that. And now, although you don't need to take first place to win, you do want to try for first place because you want to do like a winner take all sometimes to get the most money. And we're into lap 3. So going as fast as possible, boosting whatever all possible. Now, I may forget what actual planets we are on that one some of the time, but essentially you want to take advantage of the fact that completing some of the stuff does unlock certain characters. Tal. I'll be honest with you, especially since I know this track and I know you're listening. Future note, go the upper route. Either route works, but the upper route will give you a huge advantage. And that's not a negative on that one. That's just more knowing what knowing some of the stuff on some of the tracks that I practice this one because it's fun. But even seeing here, like, ow. Folks, even veterans actually will crash into that a lot. The community's actual note on that one is, when it gets close, hold the brake so you don't crash. So it is very hard to actually get that perfectly. Now, I will admit that you will see a lot of interesting tech here and there, and also picking the best spots for returns and all of that. I was basically choosing to pick the easiest way for them to go as fast as possible. Turn left, turn right. So, gonna basically come into the final turn. Then you'll immediately see go through, quit out. Well, not so much quit out, but pull up, get through the stuff to get through. Get the unlocks, go out, and start getting some of the better pods. As beating all of the higher tracks first gives you the ability to unlock some stronger racers. So it is just fast enough to go through the high difficulties first if you know what you're doing, in order to be able to get the best pods unlocked early. And since this is 100%, okay, let me double check just to make sure on that one. Also, DJ, if you got any donations, feel free to donate whenever you feel like. Either way, going to take advantage of everything on that one.
Not sure what I crashed on there, but I'm pretty sure it was like right at that corner is what got me.
The actual collision plates in this game are kind of weird on that one, and I do highly recommend for anybody that wants to pick up this game, pick it up. It's on GOG for like $10. I don't know about Steam. It's on Switch, PS4, PS5, I believe, Xbox. It's everywhere. It's cheap. It's fun. And for a game for like a 20-minute section from the movie, it's actually really, really, really good. It's got a lot of in-depth mechanics, a lot of unique stuff. I mean, even then, like, it's a game I recommend to people, especially if they want to try picking up or learning like a interesting racing style game, or pick up just and learn some of the interesting mechanic stuff, and don't want to try to actually do well in something like F-Zero. Mario Kart, I think we all know, but it is just that good.
Yeah, definitely for a cash grab for the start of the prequel movies. It's actually really good. A rare example of marketing gone right.
I mean, in all fairness, there is a second pod race in the book, but which they actually talk about in the movie. But overall, this is a game. I might add, it even got a sequel before the Clone Wars.
Wait, this game got a sequel?
Yep, PS2. This game got a sequel. We're showing it off in License-a-thon.
Hold on,
It has a sequel. It has a sequel. It's on the PS2. Although that one does not get as much love because a lot of people do not know about it, and it's got a few different mechanical side of stuff on it, but it is still some high octane action. Highly recommend, if y'all got a spare PS2 lying around, look it up, see if you can find it, cheaply. Although I haven't played it, and there's probably other ways to play it, but if you're a fan of pod racing, it is good.
I just found the Wikipedia article. It was ported to the PlayStation 4 in 2019. Physically and digitally.
Wow. Physical's probably expensive as anything, but at the same point, oh god, apparently there's a pod racing style Connect game. In all fairness, a lot of this stuff is a bit track knowledge, but at the same point, it's also knowing how to optimize your boosts and how to control your pod. As you are going fast, there is some very good floaty physics on that one. But each of the actual different versions actually are competitive to some degree. Although PC, reigns supreme, except in some areas. I will say, there is actually a benefit to some of the more modern versions, with the Switch actually having its own exclusive thing because of gyro control and being able to control boosting while turning, if I recall. Although sadly, the game is also on the list of currently being worked on for backwards compatibility for Switch 2. Making a joke to the community about how if it gets to be workable on that one, I will pick up the game because of having a Switch 2 and compete in the current tournament for that one using it. Yeah, it's the question in the chat. With the tilt controls, Switch, it is actually got gyro controls for it. Now this is, I don't think it's Gravine. If it is Gravine, I will basically point out and tell you, it is hard. In fact, this is one of the tracks where, like, a lot of racers actually ban that one, and it's one of the few tracks that you generally use a different pod other than the fastest, as the two fastest pods are Ben Quadanero and Bullseye. We just call him Bullseye because, honestly, that's the nickname for him in the game itself. Tal is taking it, pretty fast, going as fast as possible on that one, as this track is a beast. It is all technical turns, like trying to make sure you're going fast, knowing when to boost, how to boost, and just when is the most optimal time to take them, to cut off the boost as well as to not. Although you'll probably see them upgrading their pod in a little bit so that you can get everything there. But I do know that although some of the strats for the speedrun can be a little hard to pick up and learn, they are pretty good overall, just like, even if you want to play it casually. Highly recommend just looking up like where some of the really good shortcuts are that you can do in a no shortcuts run, and just have at it and have fun. Don't mind me, need to go do something real quick. Back in a minute. And back. Sorry, didn't want to wake the missus since he's had a long shift at work, so... No, close the door. Anyway, Tal going as fast as possible, taking those turns as tight as possible, and Tal making this look easier than it is to some degree, because those are some very tight turns. Although I will ask, I'm assuming they are not going on a higher frame rate for this one, or probably capping it at most probably at 60. As in the time trials perspective, you do tend to see the players actually change frame rate just to adjust how fast they have access to how fast the game runs, so you can actually take things slowly when needed or when you need to actually get more tight turns. It's all about trying to find those lines to go fast. And we're on the final lap. And of course, this is, as I said, it is a game that is both fun to play and fun to run. And if you don't feel like running it, you still should check it out and play it. To answer a question in with Omega that Omega's got here in chat. What he's got here in chat is about the difference between this and tilt controls. Tilt controls are actually great for the game, and they do have their advantages. I will also point out that most players, if they're using a controller and they have access to adjust the buttons, will naturally do that. I know, ironically, the world record holder for almost every category uses a controller, and I know they have helped me out with setting up stuff from my own personal stuff as far as controls go, but because you have to hold down to boost, usually the right or left trigger is usually set up to actually be that, so you can more easily control things. That's just some small insight as to some of the things you see the racing community actually think about. Doing well so far. Ravine is one of the longest courses in the game. although it is also one of the more technical ones, and like I've said before, it is one of those tracks that fans and players do not really like to run because of how annoying it can be. Also one of those tracks that is very fun to watch when you see a good player do it. Coming back, setting up stuff, switching pod out. Oh, no. Now, one of my favorite planets one of my favorite planets, and/or Prime. Although does have some ice physics, it is actually, you know, a bit easier to handle. Also, the collision on this planet is really good. And, oh my god, yes, there's modding, and in fact, this has a randomizer. Every single racer has a randomizer, and I believe it's on Archipelago, but don't quote me there. I know at the very least it does have a randomizer.
Yep, it is on Archipelago. I've actually been following the Archipelago randomizer for this a little bit. Last I saw, they were like on a pre-build, but it wasn't like fully out. But there is still some testing on it. But yeah, there is an Archipelago randomizer for this.
And I know there's a normal one as well, which is very, very. I haven't tried it yet, but I know the community does like it. So yes, there's modding for it. In fact, I believe they had to mod it just to get the multiplayer working in this day and age, but it is actually workable now. And if they'll let me, I will drop a link to the Discord for EJ. You mind if I drop a link to the Speedrun Discord for the game if anybody's interested?
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me a sec then, because I know the community loves like helping out people. It's Racer. It's been out since the N64. It is one of the oldest, I won't say one of the oldest Star Wars communities, but it does still have a lot of active people. So it is, in my opinion, one of those games that I do highly recommend people just checking out, as it is a hidden gem of an old school game that most people overlook. That and alongside a lot of other Star Wars games, but it is what it is there. Yep. Again, doing quite well on that one, and God, cartridge tilting. Like I said, this game is just a treat to play casually and in a speedrun sense. One of those games that is very overlooked. And since it's actually gotten a more modern release, I will say the developers behind the game, that ported it, did a very good job on that one. Added in a lot of stuff where they could. And like I said, they even added in motion controls. The community was absolutely happy about that one. So, hopefully you're all enjoying this run. Hopefully if any of you feel like donating for a Crash, feel free. Getting the actual one shortcut here that I know I personally have a hard time on it, but same point. Also see repairing when needed. The ice physics in this stage, although they are present, they are still something you gotta be, be worried about. But the game does have actual. God, what's the term? I'm blanking on it. It's not acceleration. It's. I think it's pitch, the thing that actually controls vertical, whichever way you're facing up and down, just like a flight sim style game. Though it's not as much, but it does actually affect your actual boosts over hills, and if we're not in the air, whether or not you'll get out of the air faster or not. We're an old school game. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting. So we have a $25 donation from Hoptor that says, I'm a simple man. I see an opportunity to say, yay. To disco, I say that word. Hoptor puts his money towards Wario World. Eros eats the entire garlic and saying, not yes to disco. Or saying not no to disco. So that is another poll we actually have up between now and the end of the marathon, whether you say yes or no to disco. I would strongly encourage everybody within the sound of my voice to donate no to saying no to disco. Donate no for disco. As well as donating so that Eros has to eat the entire garlic. And that incentive is currently at... as I find it here. $27 out of 250. Get your donations in for that! Exclamation mark donate.
Personally, I hate this track. Well, any of these tracks on that one because you can fall off. Some of the only tracks that actually do not have a floor to them. Although at the same point there are ways to get back up there, but it is a pain to do that. So overall, this track is all about just staying on the fastest line and trying to not fall off. As this is one of those tracks I personally do not like. There are some massive shortcuts, but we won't be seeing them, as of course no shortcuts on that one. Go as fast as possible, doing a good job of not falling off the track, as I've said, there are places that you can fall off on this particular track. And you try to pick the spots that help the most, and if you can't get a certain line, you just take whichever one you can get to be the fastest. Doing an excellent job, not falling off, going as fast as possible, picking at some solid lines, knowing where you can cut some turns, and when you should or should not boost. It's all about just getting that perfect line. And again, I'm glad that this was accepted in Speedromizer. I've been considering submitting it for a few of the events. It's just trying to find the best way to submit it, since I personally just run time trials. Because I have a whole lot of other stuff as far as the backlog goes. But this is also one of those games that I do... and Tal actually does keep up with it, even if doesn't, decide to stick with the game permanently. Does at least keep up, with like checking out the time trials and doing other stuff with it, because this game just, like I said, it needs more love. Although I do know that they also own a copy of the game on N64, but switched over to PC for it. should try Retro. Basically, it's one of the... As this is a very fun event to do. It's always fun. You find out some interesting games sometimes, find some that you like, sometimes you don't. One of the things is you do find out that there are a lot of games out there that just have sections that, like, I shouldn't say sections, but things you would not think you'd have to worry about when speedrunning it. Like, for example, capturing this game on PC. Hey Tal, I know you can't really answer, but when you get a minute, you want to tell them, like, whether or not you were able to actually capture this on OBS natively on PC?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Sure, I said, whenever you get a minute, do you want to tell them, you want to try to at least point out if or not you were able to capture the game in OBS natively?
Yeah. we ask right at the toughest part of the track here. Yeah, give me 1 second here. This is a very tight turn area, very difficult to do without upgrades.
You doing any percent no upgrades, or are you planning to upgrade?
This was any percent no skips, no upgrades.
Okay, so going with the no upgrades then. So I didn't know if you had decided to go with no upgrades or with upgrades.
Oh, this is... Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. You've got this. You've got this.
I'm just keeping an eye on the map, because once the AI has despawned, it's almost impossible to catch up. As long as I'm in top 4 on this race, that's all that matters. So if I can get 4th, I'll go on to the next course.
Yeah.
But we're not doing it with all those crashes.
Yeah.
You know what? We're gonna do a restart. I can afford it.
Yeah. I know.
But yeah, as far as capturing this natively in OBS, yeah, there's a program, I forget what it was called, that I had to download, install, let it run so that I can run this it's in an 800 by 600 window now, as opposed to it normally being fully stretched to a full screen, which, when you play this on a 27-inch monitor, the game does not look good.
Oh, trust me. And I personally actually extended on that with I don't mind it stretched myself, but this game does like to be a pain to stream sometimes.
Yeah. I know too, when it is fully stretched, there are some weird things that happen.
Oh, that's not even counting the other stuff that happens in this game.
On the very first course, where we had that really tight part where the door rotated, no matter what position it was in, I would always crash, even if I was head-on on it, when I was playing essentially full screen. No one could explain it.
Oh, trust me, I've got clips from last year, this year's Time Trials tournament, basically showing me finding stuff on Endora Prime, Centrifuge, the Invitational, which is the hardest difficulty on that one, of just finding random spots where I have clipped through things that people have never seen get clipped through before.
Oh,
that track is fun.
I don't know how I didn't crash there. I'm glad I didn't, though.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, NPCs. Where'd you come from?
I mean, this is a game that, like, it can get very tricky on some of the stuff, but once it's all said and done, it's always a fun game to just play. And I will say, some of these skipped categories are very, very, very technical on that one. You'd figure the actual no skips would be harder. But then you look at some of the really intense things that is possible there, and it sort of makes you go, you know what, I think I'll just learn to play the game without skipping hard, huge sections of the track. Going into lap 2 at 6th place, you've got a shot at making it. Although this is why I also prefer the upgrades to no upgrades. Although forcing no upgrades for players that don't practice it is always fun. But that's usually in a competitive setting. Well, you've got this. And Anakin has just passed you. And the answer to the question that you had about the differences between upgrades and no upgrades, it does matter somewhat, but at the same point, it does help you learn more fundamentals.
Okay, I gotta restart the race again.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
This is a track that a lot of people do not like. Upgrades, no upgrades, like, it is a track where you pick bullseye because you want the technical skills for this one. And that's playing fully upgraded. It's a track that is a very technical one and very hard without upgrades. At least you're doing better at preventing yourself from crashing than most people. Doing well, holding up overall. The game by now expects you to have probably upgraded at least a little bit. So, is what it is. Although, positive note is I believe the default parts do not get destroyed. So, you don't have to worry about the repair stat on that one. Well, let me rephrase that. Repairing it outside of races. In races, yes. Out of races, no. Getting a nice lineup here. You will see Tau avoiding the fire just because, although you can run through it, it can and will give your engine it can and will actually light your engine on fire. Unlike Saboba, who instead of having a taunt button, actually has a flame jet button. Because they captured that even from the movie. Although, ironically, if they ever found out about it, I believe Padres rules, he would have actually gotten disqualified. Ironically, in the movie, the best pod racer with the highest speed, Ben Quadanero, the racer with the 4 pods, actually ends up getting his pod destroyed at the very towards the very end of the race, just because he's the one that can't leave the starting line. Getting some good lines, lining up perfectly, getting the boost in there. Now, like I've said before, Tau having to manipulate when to take those boosts and when not to, and trying to last it as long as possible to just barely stop a boost just before having to take a turn, just so that way you can get the full extra amount of speed as possible. Getting a good turn, getting a good straightaway, getting a good line. Up, there's 1 lap done. Going in at first. This track is very, very, very annoying for whatever skill level you are at this game. I have seen world-class speedrunners in this game still crash when playing this track, whether for fun, time trial, or even in a full game setting. Picking their spot, easing over, slide it like that, getting a nice slide there, help the repair. This track rewards you for playing well, and it punishes you if you have small mistakes. But so far, Tal, you're doing well, doing well, doing well, doing well. Repairing, even though it costs a little bit of speed, you don't want to have the pods blow up on you. Boosting there at that perfect time. Cutting it early, but still good. Getting the nice intended shortcut. I say intended because there's a lot in this game that is not intended, and the planes and its collision lanes are a little wonky. Not Ocarina of Time bad, or take your pick on most games that got the weirdest collision, but still. Choosing to crash sooner than actually... Choosing to crash faster than to actually run out the crash. The actual getting extra speed from actually dying, which is worth it sometimes, and other times if you know you'll like be able to reach the finish line, it's sometimes faster to just take that. It's the shuttles. Managing to get back to first. Let's go. Doing well, doing well, doing well. This game can be a beast when you first start to play it, but at the same point, even when you haven't fully mastered it, you still can get a good time and you can still have fun with it. It's a game that actually encourages you to try out different things and get a lot better. Which, those type of games really do make for good, fun speedruns. And just fun ways to just practice and keep up your skill sets for a lot of different games. Now, I'm going to be quiet so Tal can concentrate on this track since it is very hard and technical. Boosting perfectly on that one there. Getting a nice line up. I can hear you.
You are talking.
Nah, I was letting him actually concentrate on that one because of the course. It's okay. And here we are, folks. We've reached the Bunta Classic, the race that is in the movie. This is a very technical course, and I will say the community does have a meme of whenever players are actually racing this.
Shoot. Oh god. You know what? We're gonna restart the race instead of trying to finagle that.
Get it back. It's the Bunta. There's a reason why the community loves to troll this one with doing Anakin versus Sebulba. But in all fairness, it is a fun track. It is one of the longest tracks in the game, but it is still... It's a solid track overall. It's a more technical track, although I personally tend to use Ben or Bullseye for this one. But overall, it is a track that it's solid, and ideally this is the track where you would unlock Sebulba in any percent. Although I can't remember if or if not you're allowed to choose track order, but it's been a while since I've seen an any percent run of the game. Anyway, doing a good job. Stay on target. And just getting through as fast as you can. Although I will point out when you get to that when Tal gets to a part later when you see the sandcrawler, one of the interesting things is that sandcrawler does move. Which is something you would not expect. But it's the small details in this game that make it a lot more fun. And doing a good job so far, avoiding the sand people's firing. Because of course they're going to fire at you. I mean, it's the Tusken Raiders. So, taking some nice turns on that one. Avoiding a lot of the fire. And just going fast. As best as you can. Oh god, they need to release the arcade version of this, and I hope to hell it gets an arcade archives port at some point. But since most of those have been for older games, probably not. Though here's hoping you get a... here's hoping it does happen, but I remember playing the arcade version of this. Tal, I don't know if you ever did or not, but...
No, I never did the arcade version.
It was one of those games that actually had, like, similar to, like, Daytona and Cruisin' and a lot of the other stuff, where it actually had a good peripheral for it. It had a pod racer peripheral. You would sit down in the pod.
Awesome.
I still need to learn this track myself for some of the more advanced stuff for it, but then again, two of my main tracks haven't even been unlocked yet in this particular one. But then again, I will say if Tao wins, looks like Qui-Gon doesn't get his ship parts. Shoutouts to the game actually having some fun references there. Going off-road to essentially cut a chunk of the course off. Ideally, you'd want to try to keep the boost there, but it's a lot harder to get that perfect spot, since if you're jostled, you can sometimes lose the boost. Boost there, going around. Doing quite well so far, only I believe one crash. Going quite far, getting to go fast as anything. Getting the full boost there. Taking one of the longest stretches of the race where you can get a boost. They try to not crash. When you see what's happened there was Tal got hit by one of the Tusken Raiders shots, I believe, and it caused an engine fire. You do not want to try to boost during an engine fire. It can eventually lead to your pod exploding. It's doable, but it deals a lot of damage fast. Highly recommend only even trying that if you are going to basically finish in that one. Doing quite well so far. Getting through, cutting just perfectly, holding off to just so you can get the good turn. Getting a good lineup. Taking nice and easy turns on it. This is one of those games where if you practice a little bit, you can get very good. It's fun to play, as I've said, casually and speedrun sense. Kind of hard to talk about some stuff since Tal's doing an amazing job showcasing just how fun this game can be. Lining up, keeping balanced there. Picking spots for one to repair because you do lose speed when repairing. Although, I don't know if you lose more speed repairing or hitting the brakes. I'm pretty sure someone in the community knows, and I don't think anybody's really asked recently. Because you may think going fast you would not want to brake, but you do, in a sense, do want to brake for some turns, as it's better to take a small loss in speed to make a turn rather than crashing. Going fast, getting good. Was that Sebulba that just passed you? Yep, it was Sebulba. You can immediately tell that one by the flame jet. He's the only character in the game that actually can cheat like that. Shoutouts to this game being both fun and yet one of the rare Star Wars games that you could say is technically not canon, even back when it was released. As some of the games were, some of the games weren't. Coming into the final stretch. Going into the final stretch. And now, it's just all about holding in that boost to cross the finish line.
Get ready on time, by the way.
What, you're just doing part of it?
And time!
GG's.
GG. Right. Waiting for the final time on the stream itself. 51:42.
GG's.
Okay, yeah, I got a 51:36, which is a 9.5 minute PB.
Yo!
Congrats.
Let's
And
go.
that is my first ever sub 1 hour.
Congrats.
Let's go sub 1.
Let's see here. The Executioner, track 1, track 2, track 3, and track 5, and track 7 were all gold splits for me. So out of
Nice.
seven splits, I had 5 gold splits.
Nice.
Let's go gold.
I know generally you do also see all the circuits as another style, but GG's again.
Yeah, that
assuming
was definitely a run. I can feel the adrenaline bumping right now. I will say, I was expecting for a few more resets to happen. I will gladly take a run with 2 resets that were early on, like they were in the Fire Mountain Rally, like that.
It's the type of game that's just like, it's fun to learn, it's fun to play, and it's something I highly recommend to people. Think we could get the link to the Discord dropped in chat again? For anybody that actually wants to try and learn the game, or just talk about the old game if they've played it before or not, because I know the community they love, trying to make sure people can check out the game. It's just so fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how much time we've got. There is one credit in the credits here that is absolutely amazing, and I wish more games would do it. But also, I just have to point out, on the PC version, the credits have loading screens. I don't know if anyone caught that. Anytime it transitions to another track, it actually has to load.
That's amazing.
I don't remember how far into the credits it is, but there is a really good credit. It's actually for Tim Schafer of Double Fine fame. So, fun fact, Tim Schafer was involved in this project.
That is actually weird. Cool to actually know, though. That is actually amazing to know.
Yeah, wait until you actually see his credit, because he did quite an amazing thing. Also, I do have to point out, the credits are unskippable. I cannot get out of this without basically Alt F4ing.
Yeah, I don't know if an all tracks run does that or not, but don't quote me there. It's been ages since I've seen one.
Yeah, I'm not sure myself. Oh, here comes the loading screen. It gets me every time that there is a loading screen in credits.
I mean...
isn't Tim part of the Psychonauts team? Yes, Tim was the lead designer, because he was he was one of the co-founders or founders of Double Fine, who made Psychonauts.
And he also helped, if I recall correctly, he was one of the people that, I'm going to make Psychonauts 2, it's going to take a while, and, helped, get that one going. In fact, I think it's, for both of those games, he's known for it. Although, oddly enough, Psychonauts 2 also has Jack Black singing one of the songs in there.
Tim Schafer was working at LucasArts back when this... Yeah! Yep.
Good old LucasArts. It has so much talent to it. And for the longest time, a lot of the games that they made were actually considered canon to some degree in Star Wars lore. Until Disney, in which case, there's a lot of stuff I could say about that one. Thanks, Disney, for basically taking out some of the characters that had multiple games of lore.
Yep.
Take the entire Dark Forces series and saying, no... Even though, that had how many things? I mean, at least we got the #1 fan favorite character transferred over to Disney's storyline in Thrawn. However, the second one... why the hell just get rid of Mara Jade? That's a completely different thing. But overall, solid run, wouldn't you say, Tao?
Sorry, what was that?
I was saying solid run overall, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, it was a solid run. I I don't know if my split sound actually came through, but I kept hearing my gold split sound, and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. There is no way. Okay, apparently there is.
That is the power of Speedromizer.
Yeah, I will say too, I can't look at the other splits, but my last split golded by over 5 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
So my PB was mostly because of the Bunta Classic.
I mean, it's a classic for a reason.
Yeah, I also believe I had a few IL PBs in there. Funny enough, Fire Mountain Rally actually got another PB on that one. By 6 seconds. I had like a 15-second PB earlier today, and yeah, that one got another PB.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, the credit is coming up here, so get ready here. Tim Schafer never actively tried to sabotage the project.
God. You gotta love when they actually come up with weird exploits.
Oh, it's so good. The story behind it was that Tim Schafer came up to one of the developers and he was like, yeah, so you're gonna give me a credit in that game, right? He's like, but you haven't done anything. And then Tim responds with, well, yeah, but I haven't done anything to actively sabotage the project.
Not wrong.
So,
Not
and there we
right.
go.
God.
But yeah,
I mean, it
that's-
does fill out the actual portfolio.
Oh, hey, okay, it got all the way to the end of the credits. We're back on the title screen.
We're so back.
Yep, GG's. Yeah.
All right. Any further shout-outs either of you two want to give?
Shoutouts to my partner, Tammy Wearsamoya. She was in the chat at the very beginning of the stream. I'm sure she's lurking in here as well. For putting up with my BS when this game really frustrated me. And to the point that she got concerned for my mental health. I love you, Tammy. Thank you for putting up with me. Then also, shout out to Bone Club. If you don't know, if you don't know Bone Club, you should. Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitch. I'm currently kind of on a hiatus for mental health reasons, but I stream regularly on there. Typically, all sorts of stuff, multi-world randomizers, casual game speedruns, music, you name it, it's on there. I also post to YouTube, TikTok, and also shout out to the Star Wars Episode 1 racer community. Like they were so helpful with getting this properly set up for me and making this game actually playable. Because it's kind of, I'm gonna say it, it's kind of not playable if you don't download that program to actually get the game running at a native resolution.
Here, hold on a minute. I will pull up the exact name just so it feels a bit better for you. As if I recall correctly, hold on a minute. Yeah, hey DJ, you might appreciate this. It's actually called DJ Voodoo.
Yes, DJ Voodoo.
DJ Voodoo.
For all the stuff, all the actual little bits of things, you gotta deal with this one. This game takes a lot of magic to get it to work, but it's great when it does.
Yes. Oh, one more thing as far as this game goes, I do recommend downloading Joy to Key as well. Otherwise, you will not be able to pause the game.
Oh, there is a button for that one. The escape key.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think with that being said, we have some ending credits of our own to get through. So stick around. We will be ending words for our 4th day. So we will be right back with those.